So, today we are going to do on his 23rd birthday by John Milton. Uh, on his having arrived at the age of 23, which exists in manuscript and was printed twice during Milton's lifetime in the poems of 1645 and 1673, was most likely written in 1632 at a crucial time in Milton's life. Just after his graduation from Cambridge, Milton here acknowledges that he may not seem as mature as some of his contemporaries, but expresses a desire to use his talents well and his trust in God's will for him over time. One thing to understand about Milton's sonnets is their topical range. Not a writer of love sonnets in English, although the sonnets he wrote in Italian are love sonnets. Milton writes political sonnets, occasional sonnets, elegiac sonnets, and sonnets of personal meditation like this one. So now we are going to do summary of this poem. You can take the poem in your hand, the text of the poem in your hand, and as I read the summary, you can read the poem. So first two lines are like this. These lines introduce the poem's theme and create a metaphor of time as a bird flying away with Milton's youth. So here in these two lines, Milton has time, compared time with a bird. Okay, so here he uses metaphor. Third line, here the poet expresses his sense of how quickly time passes, hasting days and full career. Line 4, the poet here uses a seasonal metaphor to express that his time of life is a late spring, but that so far it has not shown any bud or blossom. As we can say that in spring season we see flowers blossoming, but in the same way, our youth is a spring of our life. So Milton says that even after reaching his spring, there is no bud or blossom in his life. In other words, any promise of fruit or achievements in his life. Fifth and sixth lines. The poet remarks that he does not seem as old as he is. His look deceives the truth that he is practically a man. Inward ripeness continues the natural metaphor of bud and blossom in line 4. The poet has more maturity or ripeness inside than he shows outside, and more than some other young people. The more timely, happy spirits here have. But note the various possibilities in the word endureth. The lines are grammatically inverted and could be paraphrased. An inward ripeness that imbues clothes some others, appears less than me. The phrase timely happy spirits can be understood to refer to those who are more comfortable with their age or whose age reflects more happily their inner being. Line number 9 to 12. It may refer to the appearance of inward ripeness of line 7, whether ripeness appears less or more, now or later. It shall be just right according to his destiny, the lot toward which time leads him. Where the octave found dissonance between his inner and outward states of maturity, the sestate's answer is that time and the will of heaven will even things out according to plan. Note the multiple puns in this line. Measure could mean a musical measure or a line of verse. Even may be an adjective modifying measure or may lead to the reader into the next line. Even to that some lot, same lot. Milton often places adjectives both before and after nouns, and he likewise often lets the word at the end of a line work in two different ways in each line. Line number 13 and 14. Critics have differed as to precise interpretation of these lines, but in general, they suggest that whatever the outcome of the speaker's life, it will be with God's knowledge and in accordance with his word. The great taskmaster is God. So John Milton was a Puritan poet. He was born in 1608 and died in 1674. He is mainly known for his epic poems Paradise Lost and Paradise Regained. And he was a Tory, actually, not Tory, but a Whig. There were two parties, Whig and Tories, and he belonged to Whig party. Whig party means, those who were Protestants. So he was against the crown, and that's why he was about to be beheaded in Charles II's regime, but uh, a poet of his age asked the king to forgive him. So Milton was forgiven at that time. So this was the poem, students, on his 23rd birthday by John Milton, and this is a sonnet. Sonnet is a 14 lines poem. Okay, and this is Miltonic sonnet. So this must be like it is divided into two parts: octave and sestate. Octave is of 8 lines, sestate is of 6 lines. So when octave ends, there is a change of mood, which is called volta. Volta. So this is the thing. Octave expresses a problem, and sestate gives solution to that. So this is how Miltonic sonnet works. Uh, so this was the poem. If you have any problem, you can comment or ask me on social media.